everybody. That's right, man. Welcome back to the Bowfishing Buzz, episode 86. My name is Matthew, and I'm here with my good buddy, D. Schmitty.
Yes, episode 86. We're ready. We're locked in, ready to rock and roll up here in the studio.
Right. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. We've got a cool podcast this episode here, Schmitty.
We've done a couple of these in the past, and you guys have actually responded very well to them. We kind of call it our species breakdown a little bit. We've done grass carp and common carp.
Right.
And we're kind of analytically driven. We like to look back and see what you guys enjoy listening to, and both of those have done very well in the past. So you guys like listening to it. And we're going to kind of...
I'm going to cut you off right there for 1 second,
okay.
Schmitty, just so everybody knows that doesn't watch our video podcast, that are just listening to the podcast on iTunes or Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever. We've got a really cool-looking silver.
Yeah, a mount replica, actually.
Right.
Sitting in front of us here in the podcast studio.
Absolutely. And that is our species breakdown.
Yes. That is the silver carp. That is the missile that will knock you out as it's flying through the air. But I think we'll get some other stuff to cover here. But the basis of this podcast, we are going to try to break down and bring you guys all the information that we can on the ever so infamous, invasive, overbearing silver carp. So, yeah.
And of course, Bowfishing Buzz is brought to you by AMS Bowfishing and Megamouth Bowfishing.
Yep. Sponsored by our great sponsors here, Efficiency Bowfishing Lights by Outdoor Innovations USA, and Designs Embroidery and Leatherwork, helping us bring the Bowfishing Buzz to your ears.
Absolutely.
So thank you to them. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Schmitty, we are rolling into what I like to call the old dog days of bowfishing.
Yes, we are. Yep. July 16th today, 17th, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kind of the dog days, you get, I don't know about anywhere else, but here in Wisconsin, we get some pretty nasty algae blooms.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Where your lights just do not penetrate at all because the algae blooms are so thick.
Yeah, and I'm going to add this to that, Matt. I think that this past year, I'm seeing it in Wisconsin, especially on lakes that I'm actually normal fishing on this year. But I'm noticing that with last year's winter, at least in these northern states, we had no snow cover whatsoever all winter long. So light was penetrating through the ice and reaching weeds and underwater growth down there all winter long. It's like nothing got killed off 100%. They still got that vitamin D from the sun up there. So in my opinion, the weeds this year and the algae blooms that are going to be happening are going to be that much more intense.
Thick.
There's bays that we've been on in the past that you could 100% get a boat back into, no problem, and they are choked out at the mouth this year. We've seen that in a couple different areas. So I think that we're seeing that from this past winter with how much we had like no snow, and I think we're seeing the side effects of that this spring and summer.
Absolutely. I know there's some lakes that we shoot early in the year where now if you go back in those bays, the lily pads are absolute giants.
Yeah, and you can't see anything now. Yeah.
There's fish in them because you can see the lily pads just ricocheting, the fish ricocheting off them and stuff, but you just can't see through them because they're literally giant. They're huge lily pads.
Yeah, it's like a fish's armor above. You can't see down there.
It's almost like you could step out and stand on top of them.
Yeah. Yep. I remember when you and I were down, we were on Real Foot one year. Those were the biggest lily pads I've ever seen in my life.
Yes.
And like to a point where there were fish everywhere, and we're like, we're hopeless.
Yeah.
There's no chance.
We're done.
I know we left. There were big fish. There were fish. I can't say they were big fish because we couldn't see them. There were fish all over, and we're like, we're gonna pack up and leave. This is useless. We can't see them.
Right.
Yeah, that was interesting. I remember that a lot.
So Schmitty, that happens a lot. The vegetation grows up. The lily pads get big. It gets algae blooms.
Yep.
That happens on a lot of your inland lakes.
Yep.
So what should people look at right now if they want to go and do some bow fishing? Where's some of their best options, Schmitty?
Well, I think a lot of times, and we've done this in the past as a company. This time of year, we kind of tend to focus more towards rivers or dams. I'm not going to say specifically, but if you've watched any of our videos over the last couple of years, we have had some infamous July and August days at the base of a dam shooting big heads and silvers just like crazy. You're shooting big heads on river systems down south. And I think that that's kind of like a I don't know. It's like a nice little thing to have in your back pocket. Like you said, these inland lakes get choked out, algae bloom. You run down to the river, or you go down somewhere by a dam, and you can still get your bowfishing fix.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the reason being is because you got that flow of water.
Right.
You got that flow of water, and especially this year, we've had a ton of rain everywhere, it seems like.
Yeah.
So if you are below dams or on rivers, you need to be aware of your surroundings as well.
For sure. Yep.
Current, the flows, wear your life jackets, know the rules when you're shooting below dams.
Yep.
You know, everybody sees videos of everybody bow fishing and stuff down by Kentucky, you know, below Kentucky or Barkley down there. And they're right up there along the walls and stuff. They allow that down there because of the invasive species. And there's a lot of catfishermen that get up right there and get up to walls too. But generally it's 200 feet above and below.
And there'll be big signs out. You gotta know that, gotta watch that, or you get in trouble.
Right. But just be careful if you get down below the spots because it can be kind of treacherous and hazardous.
Absolutely.
I always like to look for the eddies and the bends on rivers and stuff like that where you have that break. Where you have that break.
You get something like a break like that and there's a little bit of back current. Fish can be sitting back in that, you know.
Sipping on the surface a little bit.
That or two. I know this time of year we were down south somewhere. We might have been in Kentucky, Matt, a couple of years ago, and we had gotten rain like a couple days prior to us going down there. And there was a couple cuts in the river that usually they had nothing in them and they had filled with water. And I know we were able to go back there. The one that sticks out in my head, the video footage is of us going back there, and I miss a good big head over top of a log. Remember what video I'm talking about?
Yes,
and
absolutely.
We were like, oh, let's go down here, and there were silvers back there,
and
like crazy, and
too.
grassies. And then all of a sudden, you were on the phone with Dennis Redden when it happened.
Yep.
You're like, there's a big head, and I missed them. But that's just, I remember that. I'm like, I remember there was a bunch of rain. We're like, oh, look, there's water in this little cut off the river. Let's go explore. And it was loaded. It was loaded.
Those are great spots. When all the rain we've had, all the rivers are choked, that water's going to go and just expand, you know? And it goes into those little cuts, those little sloughs, backwater, flooded fields.
Yeah, flooded fields.
Prime.
I knew that was going to get a reaction out of you.
Gosh.
Yep.
Absolutely love bow fishing in flooded fields.
Yeah.
It's like a kid
in a candy store. Just picking what he wants.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
And if that water is sitting at a certain level for a period of time before it starts dropping and pulling, usually that water settles down and it gets clear. And you have all the fresh crops that are down or underwater are green, and everything's just green and clear.
It's going to be kind of weird looking.
It's very weird looking. Very weird. But, man, the fish just...
What's your best? Where were you, and what were you shooting when you've had your best flooded field experience?
Ohio River.
Okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Ohio River
shooting
grass carp.
Okay, sure.
Yes.
Yep. Back up in there. Getting to areas they don't usually get to go to feed.
Because usually, you know, we're on the rivers and stuff. We don't see a lot of grass carps on the river, even though they're there.
Right.
We just don't see a lot of them. But when those fields started flooding and those fields started getting a lot of water in them, those fish came out of the main river and went up into those fields.
Sure.
And it was, game on.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
That's cool. That's very cool. Yeah. All things to look for in the dog days of summer here.
Yep. So if you're looking for something to do this weekend, Schmitty,
lay it on me.
There is a really, really cool tournament going on by the Bowfishers of Nebraska.
Oh, okay.
They're hosting their second annual Damn Total Weight Tournament on the Missouri River.
The Damn Tournament?
The Damn Tournament.
You're going to go shoot the Damn Tournament.
If I didn't have plans this weekend, I probably would go down there and shoot in that. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yep, that does sound like fun.
Total Weight Tournament.
Total Weight. Okay, I gotcha.
It's on the Missouri River. If you want more. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Who could this be?
Who could it be?
Hey, this is the Bowfishing Buzz. I'm going to take one lucky guess at who's calling us right in the middle of our podcast.
You know it's me, Matt. You know it is.
How does he know when we're recording these?
There is our buddy, old Cranky the Carp, calling us.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, I'm glad you guys are in a good mood. I've been awfully cranky lately, which I guess that goes with my name.
Well, last time we talked to you, Cranky, you were taking a pretty big adventure.
Yes,
heading south.
That's right. Yes.
Yes. Heading south.
Yeah.
Through the Lock and Dams on the Mississippi River. What's going on, Cranky?
Yeah, how'd your adventure go?
Where you at?
The adventure still goes.
Okay, all right.
There's been a lot of hiccups. I ran into Slim Shady the other day. He's an eel, and he's on the bottom with me. And what I learned is I know now why Kentucky's not real known for common carp casualties.
Oh,
there ain't any. There's nobody to talk to.
Really?
I got all these Asian carp jumping above me up there, hopping around. The food sucks. All they eat different. They're up there eating the stuff that I eat, and they're that thick. I think they're killing all the common carp, Matt.
Really?
Oh, my goodness.
Well, that's really interesting, Cranky, because we're actually going to be talking about the silver carp today.
We are. That's our podcast.
In our podcast. We're going to be doing a species breakdown on the silver carp.
Well, I hope your viewers and listeners go out there and start wiping them out, because I'll tell you what, I know us common carp may not be the favorites for bass, but those dang Asian carp and big heads, they are just absolutely horrible for these waters. And it's not been fun. I've had trouble breathing. And it's been real rough, but I'm on my way to see Heather. I still haven't gotten quite there yet. I'm down here. I think I'm on the Tennessee River. I can't even get up there to look around, Matt. There's
really?
Too many of them.
Oh, my gosh.
It's like blocking the sunlight out from you down there.
That's unreal.
Yeah. And, I found out they don't even have a stomach. They really don't have a stomach. They feed on the plankton. And you think we're bad? I hope they go out there and shoot all them guys and let us commons alone.
Wow.
So, Cranky, so you're heading down there. Are you able to keep up with Heather? Are you able to keep in touch with her to let her know, hey, I'm still on my way down there,
Oh, you know it, Matt.
Okay.
I got her on Fender. On Fender. That's how we communicate back and forth. And she said she's got her fins all shined up for me. But it has been so hot, Matt. It's been so hot.
Huh.
My scales are sweating. It looks like there's about 4 ounces of fish oil behind me every time I'm swimming with the damn scales. I'm so hot down here. I'm trying to stay in the deep water, but I'm going to have to eventually come up. I'm going to try to meet Heather later this week.
Okay.
Weather's going to be good. And, getting through the lock and dams hasn't been too much of a problem, but them damn silver carp is the problem.
That's crazy.
Yeah, well, we're going to try to inform everybody today about how bad they really are.
Right.
Well, I got some advice, Matt. You want some advice for your listeners, Schmitty?
Let's hear it.
That.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you guys bowfish for us, you drive around in fancy boats, air boats, and all them boats and the trollers, and you got those big fancy lights.
Right. Yep.
That's not gonna work for those silver carp. I'm telling you, right? Every now and then, them dummies go into the light, but most of the time, if they hear a noise, they drop. So you got to tell your listeners to be quiet. Maybe use those fancy lights AMS cells. What are they called? The Oppo lights or something?
Yeah, the special ops.
The spec ops, yes.
Mm-hmm.
That would probably be the trick. And I normally don't tell you guys how to kill fish, but I'm telling you now, if we don't do something about these silver carp, you ain't even going to have any common carp to play after.
Oh, that's terrible. Wow. Yeah. Wow. Oh, that's great advice. We appreciate that, Cranky. I'm sure everyone is very glad that you're sharing some advice with us.
Yep. Cranky, I have a question for you there, buddy.
Yeah, what's that?
How's your carpo tunnel doing?
Oh, that's right.
You had to bring it up, man. I'm still swimming. When you get to my age, us common carp, we only live to about 20, 25 years old out here in the wild. And when you're my age, you take a blue chew and you get the fender out and you end up with carpal tunnel at my age. That's why I'm going to see Heather.
Right. The Haktua carp. That's awesome. That's cool. Well, I hope she's the one for you, Cranky.
She told me the other day her favorite singer was Tina Turner. I love Tina Turner's music. It is awesome.
Wow, she sounds like a real keeper.
I got her a signed copy of Tina Turner's greatest hit.
Wow. Oh, my goodness.
She got one about rolling down the river or something. It's really good.
Wow.
You'd really like it, Schmitty.
That's amazing. You are quite the romantic, Cranky. She's going to love that.
I'm actually surprised that I'm surprised that Schmitty knows who that is.
I think at first I thought you were talking about the baseball player Trey Turner, but then I'm like, okay, Tina Turner rings a bell, so it must be Tina Turner because it's Tuna Turner.
No, Tuna Turner.
Gotcha, Tuna Turner.
Got better lips than Tina. I can tell you
that. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, have you seen the latest Johnny Carpson episodes? They're really good too. They're late night. They have them all over down here in Kentucky.
Really?
Below the Lock and Dam, they've got like an underwater system, and a lot of us hang out there because, like I said, we're the minority down here. The common,
yeah,
you know,
I bet you are.
All up there, they got and they speak a different language. I can't even understand them. The lips. I just keep on swimming along in circles.
Oh my goodness, you're seeing so many cool things.
Yeah,
I mean,
even though an adventure,
even though you kind of get a little ticked off once in a while at the silver, you're seeing some pretty neat stuff that you don't normally see back here in in the Midwest.
Right? Yeah.
Absolutely, Matt. I mean, I saw a big head the other day. I honestly think I could have put a freaking basketball in its mouth.
Oh,
those big heads are humongous.
Wow.
Scary.
Wow. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Like sumo wrestlers down here. They have like these. Yeah.
Were you able to see that giant big head because you have my Vicious Vision glasses?
Oh, that's right.
I dropped them.
Oh no.
No, I found them again, but I dropped them. I lost them for about 2 days.
He psyched us up.
The water's so dirty down here, I couldn't see. And I was feeling along with my little barbalsoles on the front of my mouth, and I found them, picked them back up, stuck them back on. So don't worry, Matt. I'll get them back to you one of these days.
Oh, good. I'm glad you got those. On. Didn't lose them on the Mississippi River.
I got some bad news, though, Matt.
Oh, that's not good,
Cranky. You and Schmitty on this podcast have gone back to number 2.
No.
Not for Joe Rogan. Oh. But have you listened to this Kill Tony guy? Is he ever funny?
Old Mr. Hinchcliffe. Yes.
Yep. He slightly took a lead over you guys, but Joe Rogan's third.
Okay. I gotcha. So it goes Kill Tony, Bowfishing Buzz, and then the JRE is third, huh?
Yep.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, we're in pretty good company
there.
We're
going to work on that down here, though.
Wow.
I just tell you, when I see Heather, though, it's gonna be magical, man.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Magical.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, though, if I see Sunset of Lights come down through there and it ruins my vacation with her, I'm going to be upset with you bow fishermen.
We are talking about making a road trip here.
We are, actually. That's actually funny. We were talking about it. Yeah,
so when you meet Heather...
You got to be kidding me, Matt.
Other way. We're not going down that way.
Okay. Let's say I come up there and twist those wires on your Minn Kota. So you go backwards.
I bet when you see Heather, you're going to be making waves.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. Oh, big one. Where it's going to be like a tsunami, man. Like a tsunami. I'm going to just whisper in her little ears, let's pretend it's the spring.
Yes, there you go. Yep.
Oh, my goodness. Well, Cranky, we're going to let you continue on your journey. And
2 more days, Matt. I'll be there in 2 days.
Okay.
2 more days.
Well, that's great because we hope you have a safe swim down there through the lock and dams.
Yeah.
And we hope you avoid all those groups of silvers and biggheads that are choking up the rivers down there.
Mm-hmm.
And
absolutely.
We hope that you don't get surprised when you see Heather, like you were saying what happened one time when you got...
I got catfish.
Yes.
I literally got catfish.
Yes.
You guys think that's a pun. I got catfish. She was a dude. But that's a whole other story.
All right, Cranky.
I know Heather's for real.
All right, well, that's good. We look forward to talking to you to see how the rest of your journey goes here on our next podcast, Cranky.
I love listening to you guys. I tell you, you guys are first class. No joke. All kidding aside, the bow fishing buzz teaches me a lot. And I don't tell too many of my common friends about your tips and tricks. You know, I like to let Mother Nature be and let things just go the way they are and flow. But damn it, Matt, don't shoot me with my glasses on. If you see the carp with the vicious visions,
leave him alone.
Shoot Cranky.
Okay.
Shoot
Cranky. I will not do that, Cranky. You're my buddy.
Yep.
One day we're going to meet, Matt. You're going to fall in, and I'm going to walk up and I'm going to nibble on that ear of yours. You guys do stuff with Schmitty. I got to go.
All right. You take care, Cranky.
Yeah, thanks, Cranky.
Hey, Schmitty, did you sell your boat? I saw it on Marketplace.
I've got a couple people looking at it this weekend. I appreciate that. I appreciate you seeing that and asking about it.
I did. I couldn't believe it. I thought maybe he's getting out of fishing.
No, we just got a different one now.
They upgraded. They bought a different one, a new one.
Yep.
Hey, did you put that live scope on?
Oh, it's on it. 100%. Yes.
Okay. You see, when you're out there in Wisconsin, when I get back and you see the carp with the big moon sticking out, that's me mooning you. Back and forth.
Yep. I'll be able to see that very easily.
With those guys with the live scope, that thing cracks me up. It's like an underwater video camera, and I just walk up and I can see all the 52 transducers they got on the bottom. It's absolutely nuts. And then me and my buddies, we moon you guys. We pull our scales down a little bit.
Oh, yeah. I'll be looking for that.
Frankie.
Mm-hmm.
That's good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Good luck selling that boat. Smitty, Matt, have a great rest of your day. I'm going to find me Heather.
Oh, attaboy, Cranky.
Absolutely.
We wish you the best of luck on your journey, buddy.
Good luck.
All right, if you see the waves in Kentucky, it's not the wind. Gotta go, Matt.
Oh, man. Good old Cranky. Always calling in to lighten the mood here. Goodness gracious.
What a guy.
Yeah, what a guy. What a fish.
Yeah.
What a fish.
So before we got interrupted there by Cranky,
you were talking about the tournament
The tournament there down in Nebraska. More information, you can go to the Bowfishers of Nebraska's Facebook page. They have a little calendar there that has more information on there. Like I said, it's a total weight tournament and also a big fish side pots, 1 to 4 person teams, $100 per team, $20 big fish side pot. It's out of, I don't know if I'm going to say this right or not, Niobrara.
Niobrara.
Yeah,
something like that. Niobrara.
Yeah, yep. But it's Bowfishers of Nebraska's second annual Dam Total Weight Tournament on the Missouri River.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it's kind of those tournaments are winding down a little bit. This time of year, there's less and less. So
yep.
There's still a couple out there. Go
Absolutely.
make use of them. Go learn.
Go meet
some friends.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Go have some fun.
Go have some fun.
So I tell you what, Matt, I think that now it is time for...
Can you feel the tension in the air right now?
It's time for BAA Records.
First BAA record here goes out to Breland Crawford. Congrats on his youth Tennessee state record grass carp weighing in at 31 pounds. Nice shooting, Mr. Crawford. That's awesome.
And that is the only one that has been up on the BA's Facebook page.
Oh, okay.
Since our last podcast.
Gotcha.
But, Schmitty.
Oh.
I've got 2 of them here that aren't out there yet.
Oh.
That I know about.
How in the world do you know about them if they're not even out there yet?
Because I know.
Because you're connected.
I'm connected.
Well, let's hear them.
All right. How about Gunnar Hagen?
Oh, we know that name.
Yep. He is on a team member of On Track.
Yep.
Pro staff shooter for AMS Bowfishing.
Absolutely.
Excuse me. Gunnar has 2 BAA Mississippi State record fish. The first is a silver. Yep. Weighing in at 30.6 pounds.
Oh, my God.
And the next one is a big head. What does it weigh, Schmitty?
That big head, Matt, is weighing in at an even 90 pounds. Holy moly, what a tank. Oh, my gosh.
Congratulations to Gunnar on those 2 BA records and that absolute beast of that 90-pound big head. Well, Schmitty, we are going to make a Stingray phone call here.
Yeah, a live on the water Stingray phone call.
That's right. I like that. On the water, live on the water. We actually have last year's AMS Big 20 Average Joe winners.
Yeah. Such a cool thing that Corey does for us every year, those Average Joes. That's something that not all tournaments have, and it's a heck of a prize, too.
Absolutely. So for anybody that doesn't know, during our tournament, we have an Average Joe prize.
Yep.
And that's a team that has the average weight of the fish that are weighed in during the tournament divided by the number of teams that weigh in.
Yep.
Last year, we had 67 teams that weighed in.
Yep.
We had a total weight of 20,520.30 pounds of fish weighed in.
Crazy.
With an average weight of 306.273 pounds. And the team that was closest was carp slayers with a total weight of 305.2.
Wow. So like a pound off of the average?
1.07.
Wow.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Yep.
Impressive. And that's from this past year's in May
That's
tournament.
2023 average Joes.
Oh, 2023 average
Yes.
Joes. Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
Cool. Gotcha. Cool.
They are out there right now with Corey Brosman because that's the prize.
Yeah.
It's a 2-day stingray trip.
Which is crazy.
Oh.
Out there with
Yeah.
the bowfishing guru himself.
Yeah. So they're out there right now.
Yep.
We're going to call them and see how things are going.
Yeah. And they're not like, taking a lunch break. They are in the middle of slinging fiberglass right now.
Right.
So, yeah, let's see how the old carp slayers, or should we say the stingray slayers, are doing out there with Corey.
Right. All right. Hopefully they're not fighting a stingray right
let's
now.
see what they're up to. It'd actually be really cool if they were.
You've reached the hotline of Stingray Slayer. How may I help you?
Wow.
Oh, yes.
Is the stingray slayer live on the water as we speak right now?
Am I live on the air?
Awesome.
Absolutely.
You wouldn't believe it if I told you that. Ironically, you're calling me. I've got the AMF Average Joe winner from last season, the Carp Slayer.
Yeah.
Nice.
And we're fixing to shoot one right here live on your podcast.
Oh,
That would be really cool.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me put you and the listeners in the seat here. It's 94 degrees. The sun is shining. We got a bunch of AMS bow fishing bows on the front of the boat, and we are on a big sand flat. And we had just made one pass before you called and seen a bunch of dust clouds. So I got the sun at the back, wind at our back, and we're gonna glide in here and see if these boys can't get it done for you.
That'd be awesome. So, Corey, are they having a when did Team Carp Slayers get out by you?
So the boys rolled in a couple days ago. They drove all the way from Wisconsin, and they're staying in an Airbnb.
Okay.
And the first afternoon out, they got 10 stingrays.
Oh.
The biggest was 60 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, they got a bunch of Southerns. They brought coolers because I'm going to send the meat back with them.
Absolutely, yeah.
So they did really well. They got some cow nose. And then last night we went out specifically for butterflies, and they saw two, and that's where the average Joe pulled in on them a little bit.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. It was a rough night last night. You're looking for that one fish. And you've never done it. You let your guard down. These guys have been absolutely on fire. When you hear the second, you're going to hear them shoot. I'm pretty sure. We're just in the zone here where we had just put a cow nose in the box.
That's
cool.
That's really cool because what we were just talking, Corey, before he called you. What a cool prize this is for the average Joe team to get a chance to do something that they probably have never done because most of the teams are from the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
They're not gonna get a chance to go out to the East Coast or to the West Coast or down south to try it for stingrays.
Yep.
And you've been offering this trip for every AMS Big 20 that we've had. A 2-day stingray
and
trip.
I tell you, I met some people that are now my friends forever.
Absolutely.
Back when we first did it, I wasn't sure, and now, I see them every year at the AMS. We keep in contact. I know Kyle, a few years back, was one of them that, we speak a lot on Facebook. And now getting to meet Gavin, Riley, Connor, and Drew, it's been a great time, and I'm very happy to do it. But I got to tell you, though, the way they shot yesterday, I think they might have fibbed a little bit on their shooting ability at the AMS because they were definitely no average Joes shooting yesterday.
Okay,
that's good to hear.
Awesome.
That's good to hear.
Very cool.
That they were having a good time.
Yeah.
I remember that you took out Fred a couple years ago.
Yeah, we just talked about that. Yep. Yeah. We had a great time, and he had an opportunity. The cow nose were in so thick, they had the water dirty. It was like being on Castle Rock when the buffers fought in, So
that's really cool.
Yeah, these guys are looking pretty good here. We're just driving around on this flight. It's actually a new spot that I told him. I said I've never been out here in the daylight on this one particular spot. We literally rolled in and shot a cow nose. I said, well, that proved it. It's good. And then our last pass, we've seen a bunch of dust clouds, and you've done this before, and they just kind of swim off.
Yeah.
But no, it's an honor to do this for. I don't like to call it the average Joe guys because, like I said, they're all great guys. In fact, this dust cloud, is that him right under you?
Oh, come on.
Hold on.
Come on.
He's off to the right, guys. Hold on. Now
we got to fire the Honda up. Oh, right there in front of you.
Oh, come on.
Got him!
Oh! No way!
They got a little southern. All right.
That was riveting just to listen to.
Yes.
Wow.
Now the race at the back of the boat, an arrow just flew. They missed it. Hold on.
Oh, my goodness.
We're getting live play-by-play.
We may have cut the string.
Uh-oh.
I've got some sorry faces here. We're going to go look. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
We got mayhem.
Hey, I don't want to tell you, but the tip the guy was using on that particular one was not anything that you and I are familiar with. Let's just go with that.
Okay.
All right.
There was another one off to the right. Hold on, we're back on him again.
Oh,
wow.
boy.
So
how cool.
How exciting.
So sometimes no matter what tip you're using, if you hit one of these big ones in the wing on the very end and you blow through, they tend to rip out. It's not that the point did its thing there, but I'm only using one hand right now to work the boat a little bit because the other phone's in my hand. I shouldn't be.
I can see you already. You're pinching your phone with your hand because you're standing up on that tower because you can always see the rays before we can see them. And then on the right side, you've got the throttle for your kicker.
Yeah, so Power Tran, which we have that tail fin, they do a lot for the AMS as well. And
right.
I'm able to run these rays down. We're going to go back out on this flat one more time, but it was exciting watching the arrows fly there for a split second.
Oh, yeah.
They have to get it to anchor QTs or some interlock grapples. We'll see. But we're having a great time. It's I'm looking forward to. I know the fellows that won it this particular year, I believe, are the ones in the ambulance out of Oklahoma, if I'm not mistaken.
Fishy MS was that the team?
Yeah, I don't remember. I do remember talking to them there and got their phone numbers. I'm not exactly sure who's coming this year. I always tell them to get a hold of me in February because a lot going on to AMS I can never remember.
Yeah,
but. I do remember talking to him. Me and Brody talked to him. Brody's actually going to jump on the boat with us because they want Brody to come out and hang out.
Cool.
And
but we just wanted to call you and see how the average Joe guys are doing. Like I said, these guys
are doing really well. I'll send you some pictures. They can go on Bronson Boys Facebook page if they want and see the photos of these guys. But they're swinging arrows. The tide just now got right. All morning you know how the tide works here, and then we've been fighting low tide. But now that the water's coming up, it's like your backwater with the carp. As the water comes up, the stingrays move up on these sandbars, and we're just sitting here waiting for them. And that run there, I think we've seen 3 or 4 medium-sized male southerns. So somewhere around here is a big old girl.
Cool. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
That sounds fun.
And we can't thank you enough, Corey, for doing this for our tournament. It's a wonderful prize, something that people get to experience, something that they're probably never going to experience again in their life.
Yeah, you have an average night on the water. It could result in a once-in-a-lifetime trip for yourself. That's
it's so cool.
Last night we did see 2 of them. One of them I know I told them that was like a 4x8 sheet of plywood. We literally ran over it, and they saw it just briefly, and I wasn't able to get back on it because of the clarity. We had 5 inches of rain a couple of days ago.
Oh, wow.
And, there's a dust cloud. But they're having a great time and have friends for life, and they're welcome back anytime. And like I said, if there's another duck, hey, right, a big one, big. Hold on, she's here somewhere. The female was looking for. Man, sorry, I thought we had her.
On the edge.
So the boys, you can see these boys. They want this so bad on this podcast. That was a sound that just rolled out. But anyway, I know you got a lot going on. We've been paying attention to your podcast. We love it. The boys here love it. They've been following along, and I'm just glad that cranky fella hasn't called in while I'm on the phone with you. I never figured you doesn't ever call me.
He's polite enough not to interrupt when we've got you on the phone there, Corey.
Yeah, that was nice of him. So, but anyway, that a big job with left guys. Yeah, that is. So we're gonna go out here. You guys, we'll text you some photos. You can put them up on your
we'll do that.
On the AMS page.
Absolutely.
And if anybody wants to win this, they got to come to the AMS tournament next year. You know the dates, and you can let everybody know. And
that's right. And Corey, what if somebody just wants to come out there and do some general stingray bowfishing? How can they get a hold of you for just that?
The easiest thing is obviously social media or our website, Bronson Boys Bowfishing. I mean, we really enjoy what we do. Captain Aaron and I work very, very hard. We're on the water almost every day, every night. And we work really well with some of the other captains that are down here that are also doing this. And we've got, there's a big swirl, guys.
Oh, boy.
Man, I wish I could just. Here we go again.
You keep teasing
I'm trying, Matt. I've done donuts. I'm getting dizzy from doing circles on this little flat sun killer. But no, go to Brosnan Boys. We'd love to have them come out. It's always great. The bowfishing community, we're all one big family, and I bust these guys' chops about some of their equipment, but it's all in fun, and we're having a great time. Hey, I did send you that video. I have to tell you, they did learn real quick the small bottles on these stingrays didn't quite live up to their name, and you can post that. Everything worked except they ran out of line, and you've shot big carp, and you know what happens. The bottle's designed to collapse, and he says, "Oh boy!" So they're all now got the big bottles on there, so they're good to go.
Gotcha.
That is so cool.
Yep.
That is so cool.
Awesome.
Well, you get them on stingrays. I know you will, Corey, and you tell Team Carp Slayers to have a great time, enjoy their time, and safe travels back home to Wisconsin.
You guys got anything to say to Matt back home? Here's your chance to get on the podcast, boys. Here you go.
Thank you very much for this awesome opportunity, man. I appreciate it. How's Wisconsin?
It's beautiful here, but I'm so glad that you guys are having a great time. That's awesome that you guys are getting to experience bowfishing for stingrays. We wish you the best of luck and have fun out there, man. Enjoy the time out there, guys.
Yeah,
awesome. Good luck, guys.
We appreciate you. You enjoy that weather here. These guys they're coming home with meat and a suntan.
Awesome. That's awesome. That's very cool, Corey.
Very
thank you for your time. Get out there and shoot some stingrays, and we'll talk to you later, buddy.
All right. Take care, guys. We're going to take one to Barreltown.
That's right.
All righty.
Barreltown, baby.
We'll see you, Corey.
See ya.
Man, that just made me jealous. It sounds like a hoot out there. Sounds like fun.
Yeah. What a cool something different, calling on live on the water. I mean, that's cool to do that stuff. And we wish the guys a safe travels back home.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm sure that they're really enjoying themselves out on the East Coast.
Yeah, that's a long trek. We should do some more live on the water podcasts.
Would be pretty cool.
I mean, that was we did the one.
Yeah.
And it was so fun to do it. It was really cool.
It was.
We'll have to keep that in mind. That'd be pretty fun to do.
Yeah. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Are you looking to elevate your bowfishing brand with stunning design solutions? Look no further than N Designs. Their team of talented designers is dedicated to bringing your vision to life. Whether it's t-shirts, hats, leather products, eye-catching logos, to captivating boat wraps, they have you covered. Plus, with their commitment to excellence and attention to detail, you can trust that your project is in good hands. Don't settle for ordinary. Choose N Designs for extraordinary results. Visit their website today and let's bring your ideas to life. N Designs, where creativity meets excellence. Efficiency Bowfishing Lights by Outdoor Innovations USA. A color tone adjustable and dimmable light with a unique patented reflector design that puts more light where you need it. Efficiency Bowfishing Lights offer 3 different models: the 65-watt single-color economy light, the 65-watt Efficiency V2 tricolor dimmable light for maximum efficiency and versatility, and the 130-watt Efficiency Maximus, designed to be an all-out beast of a bowfishing light. Efficiency, designed and built by bowfishermen for bowfishermen. Check them out at OutdoorInnovationsUSA.com. And welcome back, everybody. Matt, I think we're ready to kind of get to the meat and potatoes of the podcast here. We're going to be doing a little bit of a breakdown here, some facts and some stats on the infamous silver carp. So let me kick it off here.
Yes.
Okay.
Derek, how did the silvers get here?
So silver carp were first brought into the United States in 1973.
Wow, Schmitty.
That's not that long ago, to be honest with you. Yeah.
I was 1 year old.
Oh, my God. That's insane. I was negative 24 years old.
You were a twinkle in the sky.
Yeah, I was. Yep. Okay, so they were first brought into the United States in 1973 when a private fish farmer imported silver carp into Arkansas, into Arkansas. How crazy is that what they have turned into is because a private farmer?
One guy.
Oh, that's insane. Wow. By the mid-1970s, the silver carp were being raised at 6 state, federal, and private facilities. And by the late 1970s, they had been stocked in several municipal sewage lagoons.
Wow. Now think about that. State and federal facilities brought the silver carp into the United States.
Yeah. Not good.
Wow.
Yep. How many times have we done stuff like this, Matt, on invasive species, and it all starts some kind of the same way?
Common carp were the same way?
Yeah. Someone brings them in for some purpose. They don't realize what they could turn into, and here we are decades later, and they're a serious problem.
Yep.
That's wild. By 1980, the species was discovered in natural waters, probably a result of escapees from fish hatcheries and flooding. Silver carp have also been inadvertently released with a stock of grass carp being used for aquatic plant control in several southern lakes. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
They put a bunch of grassy fingerlings in there, and there's silvers mixed in.
Whoopsie.
That's a mistake right there. Wow. In a similar case, the species was apparently introduced accidentally as part of an intentional stock of diploid grass carp. We talked about diploids on our grass carp breakdown podcast. Individuals taken from the Ohio River may have come from plantings in local ponds or entered the Ohio River from populations originally introduced in Arkansas. Wow. Thanks a lot, Arkansas.
Wow. Do you remember what a diploid grass carp was, Schmitty?
Was one of the, that was like diploid and triploid or triploid, I think were the two that we covered. Yeah. Is one of them like fertile, or one of them cannot reproduce or something?
Right.
Okay.
Yep. Which was, I know we're talking about the silvers right now, but I remember shooting some grass carp on Kentucky Lake years ago, and somebody made a post on my pictures there. You shouldn't be shooting them. He says they don't reproduce down there anymore.
Well, good.
You know how many grass carp that are this big since I've been down there are swimming all over the place?
That's wild. That's a crazy thing to say.
Thousands.
Yeah. Yeah. You just shot a ton of them a couple weeks ago when you were down there.
Right.
Yeah. They're having no problems.
Right.
Okay. So, Matt, you asked me how they got here.
Yes.
That was a little bit of a background. Let me ask you, how many states have reported silver carp populations?
All right. So silver carp are spreading rapidly throughout the rivers of the Mississippi River Basin and have been reported in 20 states.
Wow.
20 states, Schmitty.
All right, let's hear these states, man.
We've got Alabama, Arkansas, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Nebraska, Nevada, North Dakota, Oklahoma, Ohio, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, and Wisconsin.
Wow
is right.
Yeah.
So they were first brought over here in 1973.
Yeah.
And by the late 70s is when they were kind of spreading around by the flooding and stuff like that.
Yep.
And here we are in 2000s, and they're in 20 states.
Yeah. And I'm gonna go off a hunch here, Matt. They're in more than these 20 states.
I wouldn't doubt
I mean, there are silver carp. There is a silver carp swimming in way more states than the 20 that are here.
They have to, Derek.
It's hard to, how do you know that there's some population there unless you net it or do something there to get it?
Yep. Derek, in the 2009, 2008, 2010, when I was going down to the Illinois River and shooting silvers down there, it was the silvers, the jumpers and all that stuff.
Yep.
We were shooting 10 to 17-pound silvers that were jumping out of there. I went back like a couple years later and a couple years later again and a couple years later again. They kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller.
Okay.
They're feeding themselves out of river systems, and that's why they're going to new areas.
Right.
Yep. We never had them here in Wisconsin.
Right. Yeah.
We never had them here.
Yep.
And they're showing up now.
You shot the state record last year.
Yeah. Right.
It's not just little ones. I mean, there's good sized silvers.
I can't remember what it weighed. 26,
27 rings a bell for some reason.
Like that,
yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, they're eating themselves out of their original rivers that they really were in.
Yep.
And that's why they're spreading so much, because they got to go find more food.
Right.
Yep.
Yep.
So Schmitty, identification of silver carp.
Yeah, absolutely. So silver carp have narrow, deep bodies that are laterally compressed and large. They have toothless mouths with upturned lower jaws that lack barbels. If you guys are watching on the video podcast here, we have a perfect physical representation of exactly what I just said with this replica of a silver carp in front of us here. Their bodies are covered in very small silver scales except for their head, which is scaleless. Their eyes sit far forward on the head, below the mouth, and project downwards. They have keels that extend along the belly from the anal fin to the base of the gills. Silver carp can grow upwards of 3 feet long and commonly reach 20 pounds, with the largest individuals reaching upwards of 80 pounds.
Wow.
Oof, dude, that's
That's
a tank.
Giant.
That is a
silver.
giant.
That's
Yes,
a giant
it is.
fish of anything.
And
Wow.
I do remember, Matt, from my early years when we would go down to Kentucky, I remember having a slight hesitation when we'd be out at night. We'd be using our spec ops lights, shining around, shooting big heads in that fashion. There'd be a couple times when I think I would see a big head, but it was a silver. I had a little bit of trouble
absolutely.
being able to identify
Sure,
that. And I
sure.
think that's really just something that gets better just over time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep, absolutely. And even now, you shoot a big silver, it's like, is this a silver or is it a big head?
Right.
You know?
Yep.
What is it? You can tell by their eyeballs. You can tell by their mouth.
Yeah.
The color. A lot of big heads have those black spots on them
Yep.
and stuff like that.
Yep,
Where
a
the
little bit
silver
of a
is more
discolor.
silver.
Yep. And I know my big thing is those, like when I see a big head, it's almost like I always tell myself to look for that almost like glow in the dark white ring of their lips.
Yes. It's
you
more
know?
of a circle.
Yeah.
Where a carp is more oval,
Yep.
oblong.
Yep.
And a big head is more.
It's like a white
nice
5-gallon
circle.
bucket
Yes.
attached to a fish body.
Right.
Yeah.
But now, Schmitty, what you're getting is you're getting hybrids. You're getting a mixture between a silver and a big head.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh,
and
wow.
those are kind of tough to tell the difference.
Oh
apart
yeah,
also.
I bet. I bet. So Matt, these fish they're bad news. They're invasive. Why don't you just tell us a little bit more about the destruction that they can cause?
Currently, large populations of the species are already established in nearby waters connected to the Great Lake Basin, including the Illinois River and the Chicago area waterway system. On June 22nd, 2017, a 4-year-old male silver carp was found 9 miles from Lake Michigan in the Little Calumet River of the Chicago area waterway system. So they're definitely worried about these fish getting into the Great Lakes.
Yep. I'd be curious. Are the Great Lakes like too cold? Do they reach a temperature? I wonder if they're sensitive enough.
I would
stay
assume
out,
that
you
they
know?
would eventually, over time, that they would get
Adapt.
accustomed and
Yeah.
adapt
Yeah.
to the certain body
Right.
water.
I mean, they're in Wisconsin waterways, which
Yep.
get cold.
Yep. This was the first silver carp collected above the electrical barriers, and the autopsy revealed that the fish originated in the Illinois Middle Mississippi watershed and spent a quarter of its life in the Des Plaines River watershed before being caught and removed from the Little Calumet River. It is not known how this fish arrived above the electric barriers, but the autopsy revealed that the fish spent anywhere from a few weeks to a few months in the stretch of the river where it was collected.
Wow. That's
Weird, huh?
That's weird.
Yeah.
I wonder how in the world, based off of that autopsy, that they can tell that information.
I know.
That's insane, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, unless you have that fish tagged, I don't know how in the world they can do that.
I would really, you would think that they would do this, and I would love to see some of these reports on tagging a big head or tagging a silver on the Illinois River, on the Ohio River, and see where that fish goes. Where it travels.
Down in those river systems?
I think that would be some amazing
I bet you'd blow your mind.
information. I bet it would too.
I bet you those fish travel way more than what you think. Yeah.
And I'm curious too, Derek, because these fish like to be on the surface. They breach the water, and you can see their backs and stuff like that there. Do they ever go down deeper and travel further deeper? I know the big heads more likely, I think, do.
Right.
But how far down do they go? How far down deep do they swim?
Right.
And how far do they travel in just one day?
See, and something that I've always thought I always think this with like deer hunting.
Yeah.
You know, you get that 5-year-old deer that you're like, how in the world has he survived 5 Wisconsin rifle seasons?
Right.
And everyone and their brothers out bow hunting.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what does that do? I'd love to put a tracker on that.
Right.
But I've thought the same thing with like a 70-pound buff here in Wisconsin on the body of water that everybody shoots the piss out of every year. Like, where does that fish go every year that he's been able, or she's been able to reach 70 pounds?
Yeah.
Where is she at night when there's 18 different boats out on the water?
Right.
How is she avoiding them? Is she staying deep? Is she tucked up so tight somewhere that you can't reach her?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff would just be amazing to
It
know.
would be the information that you would collect on that would be, I think it would be like really, really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be, man. We should find out a way to try to do something like
I
that.
thought about that
That
for
would
a
be
while.
cool.
I know.
We got to contact the DNR or something.
Exactly.
But yeah.
So,
cool
Schmitty,
stuff.
what are some of the effects silver carp have on the ecosystem?
Yeah, so silver carp are efficient filter feeders that compete with virtually every fish species that forages on plankton organisms during their early life history stages.
Yes.
Kind of like what Cranky was telling us.
Exactly.
Said their food is crazy. There's so many of them that they're eating themselves out of areas. You can't see the sunlight because there's so many of them above them. They eat and they breed, and they do both very efficiently.
Yes, they do. Yep.
Direct competition for resources is known to cause pronounced and frequent declines in the physical condition of native fish when plankton resources are limited. There's your invasive aspect of it right there. Everything else is getting hurt when these fish move in.
Now, I'm not a catfisher. I don't go fishing for catfish because we just don't live in an area where we have a lot of catfish.
Yep.
But I would be curious because I see a lot of guys catfishing down below Barkley and Kentucky dams. I would be interested to see if some of those fish are a little smaller in the last 10 years than what they were catching before the silvers really arrived.
Yeah.
Because I know, Derek, that the paddlefish are really thin down there.
Oh, same type of deal. They're filter feeding.
They're filter feeders.
Yeah.
And they just, of course, they look long because they got that big long bill, but their bodies are just so.
They're like a nail.
They're like a nail. Yeah, it's crazy. So they're hurting.
Something else here too, Matt, that I've noticed just from us shooting silvers. You see it when we're down at the dams and everything. There's a lot of times there'll be a bunch of dead silvers floating around. It's like they're so fragile.
They're very fragile.
You'd think for these fish that just can survive anything and reproduce at these insane rates that they'd be hardy fish, but they're really not.
Yes.
They'll jump up. If they hit the dam, they'll die.
Yep.
They'll jump in the boat. There's poop everywhere. It's like they're just a very fragile bodied skeleton fish. It's kind of goofy. It's weird.
How many have you seen shot or seen swimming around that have big funguses on their area, on their gills area?
They look like they were in a biohazard area.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Like a zombie fish.
Yep. Radioactive silver.
I was down below Kentucky and Barkley. It was after the Bass Pro tournament. I stopped there after the tournament there with Dennis, and we were shooting some fish. And literally, there was you couldn't put the boat on plane because there was so many dead silvers. It was like 2018 or 19 or somewhere like that, and that was below both of the dams. There was thousands and thousands of dead silvers covered the whole water surface. And
I wonder why that year was so bad.
So what we were thinking was, and there was buffs that had some of that. Grass carp were down there that had some of that.
There was a bunch of these species were all dead, floating? Really?
Yep. What I found out later on, because I was curious about it, so I kept looking at this when I came back, what was going on down there. They eventually opened up the gates to wash the fish down because it was so rotten up there. They opened the gates, let the water come through, and they pushed them down the river, got them out of there. I found out it was called a gas bubble disease.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Because a lot of the talk was that somebody down there put something in the waterways.
Oh, really?
Some type of chemicals. Yep. Because there was no catfish, there was no paddlefish. It was, mainly pretty much all silvers and big heads with an occasional buff here, a grassy here that was floating around.
Yep.
But word was that it was called gas bubble disease. And what happens is on their gills, they create little tiny bubbles.
Oh, okay, sure.
And it plugs up their gills, which is their lungs.
That's their breathing apparatus.
And they eventually suffocate.
Sure. Yep.
Just like if somebody were to squeeze your lungs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or I
can
tell you to
go run around a little bit.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yep. So the gas bubble disease. And there was, like I said, there was
interesting.
You couldn't put the boat on plane to go because it would just it wouldn't go anywhere because there were so many dead fish down there.
I wonder why that year it was so prevalent down there. That's strange. You make it like a weather pattern or something in the water. That's kind of strange. That's interesting, though, that there was an effect for it. Let's see here. Silver carp can efficiently strain suspended material from the water with specialized gill rakers that resemble sponge-like plates. That's interesting. Like the bighead carp, silver carp lack a true stomach. Thank you, Cranky. Which requires them to feed almost continuously.
Yep.
These fish will create havoc on the zooplankton and phytoplankton food web chain as they can consume 2 to 3 times. Wow, I'm just gonna reread this line.
That's crazy.
These fish will create havoc on the zooplankton and phytoplankton food web chain as they can consume 2 to 3 times their body weight in plankton each day.
Wow
is right. Good God, a 20-pound silver is eating 60 pounds of plankton a day.
That's almost hard to fathom.
How do you even picture in your head what 60 pounds of plankton looks like?
Right.
Wow. Right now on the Illinois River, 90% of the biomass is silver carp. For everybody, out of 10 fish on the Illinois River, 9 of them are silver carp.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
That's dangerous.
Yeah. They are popularly known for acrobatic jumping out of the water when startled by noise of boat motors, becoming potential hazards for recreational boaters. Yeah, you could have a
absolutely
15-pound bowling ball jumping out of the water and hitting someone tubing or on a jet ski.
Right.
That can be bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this, Matt. Where do these fish like to live?
Yeah. Yep. Silver carp prefer habitats in the standing waters of rivers, canals, and lakes, tolerating water temperatures from 43 to 82 degrees Fahrenheit. They are commonly found in impoundments of backwaters of large, slow-moving rivers or large lakes. They often swim near the surface of the water and are well known for breaching the surface. And that's what we see.
Yep.
And that's why it's easy to see them even without having your lights on at nighttime.
Right.
Especially if you have a light in the background, like a yard light, a factory that's along the river.
Oh, sure. Yep.
With the factory lights are reflecting off the water, and you can see that they're breaching the surface, and that's why you can see them. A lot of times you don't even need to turn the light on when you shoot them.
Right.
You know, you just wait for them to get close to the boat. And
yeah. I remember one time it was you, me, and Dennis. I don't know which river we were on down there. I was a pup. I was a young pup. And we were trying to shoot big heads one night. I was filming, and we couldn't get away from the silvers. There were silvers everywhere, and there wasn't a ton of big heads. And so we all get down. We're getting, putting the camera equipment away. We're going to make a run either back to the boat landing to go somewhere else or further downriver, whatever the case might be. And Dennis looked over to me. He says, "You want to hear something weird?" And I said, "Sure." We're all sitting. It's all dark. And he went up on the deck. You remember what I'm going to say?
I know what you're going to say.
And he took his foot, and he went as hard as he could down on the diamond plate. Boom! And he just stomped. Domino effect. As far as your ears could hear, fish surfacing to swim down because they were scared of that noise. It sounded like if somebody drove on the top of a hill and dumped a truckload of gravel, and the gravel was cascading down this hill over top of itself. That's what it sounded like as these tens of thousands of fish were down the entire river were reacting to that noise.
It goes.
Yes. And then carries on further than what you can hear. Yeah. I remember. I'm like, holy cow, that's crazy.
I'll never forget the first time I heard that, Derek. I was on the Ohio River as well, and this one wasn't because we scared them. They got spooked downriver from something else.
Oh, okay.
So
it came towards you
at us, and I was like, "What the heck?"
Probably a little scary.
It's like, oh my gosh, it just freaks you out.
Yeah.
You're thinking like there's a wave coming at you because it sounds like somebody doing donuts in a parking lot.
Yep.
It's just crazy.
That's wild. And something too here, Matt, that you just read. Their preferred water temperature is anywhere from 43 to 82 degrees. Okay. Yeah. That'd be like if someone asked me, "Oh, Derek, what's your favorite temperature to do stuff outside?" I'd be like, anywhere from 20 to 65 is fine. They can survive and do it wherever they need to,
And they're here in Wisconsin. They're here on the Mississippi River.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the Mississippi River doesn't freeze over because of the flow and all that stuff, but it gets pretty darn cold. I bet you that some of the temperatures are in the 30s.
Yep, upper 30s, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, on them cold nights.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, Schmitty, how do these fish reproduce?
Okay. This is my. I've been looking most forward to this one because of because of how crazily fast they can take over a body of water.
Yeah.
So silver carp generally spawn in spring or early summer, primarily cued by increased water temperatures in the range from 70 to 80 degrees. All right. So a little bit warmer, but typically the same type of trigger as buffs and commons. They're waiting for a water temperature type of deal. Silver carp participate in broadcast spawning. That's very important.
That's interesting.
Yes. Yep. The female releases the eggs, and the males fertilize them within the water column.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm reading this correctly, they don't need to be up on shore and have these eggs stick into something as they're spewing out of that female.
Right.
This female is just swimming along and releasing the eggs, and these males, she could be 10 feet up off the bottom.
Yeah.
And these males are coming through and fertilizing those eggs.
Yes.
So that's why it's just mayhem, crazy successful reproduction rates with these fish.
What do commons do when they're spawning, Derek? They're breaking the surface. They're pushing. They're in shallow water because they need to adhere their eggs to the vegetation that they're spawning in.
Yep.
And we can see them very easily. We can see get good shots on them.
Absolutely. Yeah, you'll have 6 fish in a pod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Where, like you said in this here, they're spawning. They might be down there in 15 feet of water. wherever that water temperature is the right water temperature.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah.
It's something I wonder there too. Okay, so they've got that crazy 70 to 80 degrees is their preferred water temperature. Yep. So that begs the question, when it's early in the year and there's a back bay that's 70 degrees,
multiple times,
they can go spawn up in there.
Mm-hmm.
2 months later, when the middle of the water column by the thermocline is 80 degrees, they can be spawning there.
Yeah.
This window is huge.
Right.
They have such a big window.
Yes.
Because they don't have to be up in a foot of water to do it.
Right.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, broadcast spawning. Yep. A single female can carry as many as 2 million eggs. Spawning takes place upstream, and the fertilized eggs float downstream to floodplain zones where they absorb water and eventually settle to hatch. So they absorb enough water to sink, and then that's how they hatch.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
What I heard years ago, Derek, somebody said, well, once they get into the Great Lakes, they're never going to be able to spawn because there is no current.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Well, you know what, Derek? In all my years of fishing Green Bay, you know what I learned on Green Bay?
What?
Green Bay.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I know what you're going to say.
What happens on Green Bay a lot?
Yeah.
We have tides.
Yeah. You always
that
say
actually happen.
It's got like its own current system.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, you can't tell me when I'm back there in one bay and I can, all of a sudden, pretty soon, I can't float anymore where I was floating 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
That there's not a current going out.
Yeah.
Because I can see all the duckweed on top of the surface going out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all facing the same
pushing
direction.
Somewhere. I can see it in culverts that come out of I can see the water flowing in and out of there crazy. Like you wouldn't think that would happen in Green Bay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty darn sure that the Great Lake has a tidal effect.
Yeah.
It might not be the same thing as what happens on the ocean.
Oh,
and
yeah,
stuff like that.
Right.
There's got to be current out there. I don't care if you have wind that's blowing on Great Lakes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yep.
And right here it says that these eggs don't need to be constant. They're not constantly buoyancy floating in that current.
Yeah.
They absorb water.
Right.
And they settle down.
Yeah.
And then the larva or whatever you want to call it.
The fry.
The
little fry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blip.
Yep.
Pops up.
Yep.
Wherever it happens to end.
Based off of what we've read and what I've read in the past, to me, the current aspect of it, sure, it might happen where there's a lot of silver carp, but if a silver carp if a female would broadcast her eggs, they would get fertilized, and there was no current at all. To me, they would just suspend until they absorbed enough water to just go down into the sediment, into the bottom.
Right.
I don't really know if current is going to make that egg absorb more water.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting.
It is interesting.
Very
interesting. You know, and with everything we're talking about, Matt, we're obviously the fisheries aspect of things. The United States have tried to take steps to try to control this. There's a lot of money that goes into that. Why don't you enlighten us all on a couple of the steps that we've tried to take as a nation towards these silver carp?
The cost to control Asian carp, including silver carp, has been in the billions of dollars and can take decades. Here are some examples of the cost, Derek, associated with controlling Asian carp. The Brandon Road Interbasin Project, which is in Illinois. Okay. This $858 million project is designed to keep carp out of the Great Lakes and is expected to be completed in 2030. The project includes electric barriers, noise broadcast into the water, and a column of bubbles.
Oh my God! Think of what is all going to have to go in there to just do those things right there. That's insane.
Wow.
Noise barriers?
Yes. Bubbles.
Oh my gosh.
Noise. Electric barriers. Bubbles.
Wow.
In 2019, the U.S. House of Representatives passed a budget agreement that included $25 million for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services to fight Asian carp. In 2017, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers proposed spending $275 million to upgrade defenses against Asian carp. The Army Corps has also built shock barriers that cost millions of dollars a year to operate.
Yeah.
And that's just...
that's three things that we found.
Three things that, I looked up and I thought, oh, that's interesting. That's a lot of money.
Right.
Your own states are spending...
They're doing their own aspect of that. Yep.
Wow. And like I always say, us bowfishers, we do it for free.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yep. They should have an $858 million project to help bow fishermen get out and shoot some silver carp. Wow. Just in these three listed, you're over $1 billion right there.
Yes. Now, one thing that has definitely helped Derek in the past 5, 6, 7 years or so is the commercial netting of silver carp.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Jim Ed.
We went down with Jim Ed in his outfit down there. That was very cool to see.
Very interesting.
Yep.
They have fertilizer places down there in Kentucky where you can take fish to fish plants.
Yep.
And they'll actually pay you some money if you drop them off there.
Yep.
And what they do with those, what I heard is they smash them up, they crush them up, and they freeze them in blocks.
Oh, okay, sure.
And then they ship them to the East Coast for their lobster pots to catch lobster.
Okay,
you use
sure.
that for
bait. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I remember when we were down with Jim Ed, he's got this huge, what's that? What is his boat called? Does it have a specific, is it like a specific type of boat?
Yeah, so netting is especially designed for netting.
Yeah, it's huge.
Huge, yeah.
Flat bottom.
Yep.
You know, it's just this monstrosity of a
It's got
boat.
this big walls on the side to hold the nets in, and stuff like that.
There's a name for the type. I don't remember what it was, but I remember we were driving around following him, filming in the AMS boat. And we're driving around and we probably drove around for 20 minutes, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe longer.
What he was trying to do was locate.
Yeah, he was trying to find silvers to drop that net down.
Right.
And I remember
on his sonar.
On his sonar, he's trying to find fish. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We're driving around and kind of just waiting around. Oh, I wonder if he's seen anything, All of a sudden, he starts to circle back, which means fish located.
Yeah.
And I remember looking around and being like, God, we haven't seen a silver jump.
Right.
There's none of them floating around here. This doesn't necessarily look like a spot there would be silvers.
There was nothing on the surface.
No, not at all. There was no jumping fish,
no
like
jumping
what
fish,
you think of.
No water kind of doing where you can sense that there's something.
Yeah, there was no
underneath
V's in the water
Right.
like there is on a buff or a common. And he goes around, he drops out this net, which is a huge net. It took him a good amount of time to get this net out. And I'm like, man, what? This is weird. I don't know if there's fish here. Then he started to bring that net in. And as that net got smaller and pushed whatever was inside of it closer to each other, the water erupted.
Fish jumping everywhere.
Oh, they were everywhere. It's like you don't even know when you're above 6,000 fish. You don't have a clue.
Right.
They don't always show themselves. They're not always jumping like what TV makes it look like.
Yeah.
I'm just like, wow, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
That was so cool to watch him do that.
It was. Yep.
And he was very good at it because once he puts his net in a big circle.
Yep.
And then what he does is he drives back over top of that, backwards sometimes.
Oh, that's right. Remember, he'd trim his motor up?
And he's got it down pat. Back down it goes, and he's driving backwards, making them, go into the net so the nets collect them in the gills and stuff.
Yep.
Really neat process.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was pretty cool. And I remember Joellen was right up in there grabbing all them fish out of
messing
there.
around.
No, that was pretty cool to see.
Yeah. Really neat to see.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So that's our. I want to touch on one other thing here, Derek.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Before we get out of the silvers here is they're actually very good to eat.
Oh, okay, that's good to know.
They're actually very good to eat.
Okay.
Like I said, we had big heads before. I did try silvers one time when I was down with the Illinois Bowfishing Association.
Okay.
Ed DeVries had some cooked up.
Yeah.
And very good.
How did he prepare them?
It was some type of an outdoor show.
Okay.
And there was a guy there filleting up silvers and big heads.
Oh, cool.
And he was grilling them and seasoning them. And you had battered ones. You had just grilled ones, like a poor man style.
Yeah. Yep.
He had them in several different flavors there, and they were very good.
Really?
Fish sandwiches.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's
tacos,
very cool.
fish tacos.
Yeah.
It was really good. Very good to eat. So, if you're out there shooting some, try them.
Yeah. Throw one in a cooler and flay it up and
Yeah.
see what you get.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because I touched on this just a little bit earlier, Derek. Yeah. You and I are kind of planning a little trip here.
Yep.
You want to tell everybody kind of what we're looking at doing here?
Yeah. So I'm going to use this as a little bit of a time to shut out what we've been doing a little bit here lately, Matt, too. You've made 2 very cool videos lately. On the AMS YouTube channel, you made a overall, like, your favorite bowfishing point.
Right.
And then you also made a video about your favorite big fish point.
Yep.
I won't reveal what your answers were. If you guys want to watch those videos, they're very well done. Matt goes out and shows real life footage of why he has his choices. But in doing so,
it's really cool too because we got the GoPro shooting these.
Oh yeah,
it's
recent. It happened like a month ago. You were shooting these fish.
Yeah.
what we've been wanting to do here is kind of go bowfishing somewhere where we're not really familiar with where we're going.
Right.
You know, go out to a different state somewhere. We're thinking about maybe heading out west somewhere, 8 to 10 hours away and just starting on a certain section of river and slowly working our way back home, whether that takes 3 days or 7 days, and just see what the bowfishing is like. Because like we talked about earlier, we're kind of in that tough time of year here in Wisconsin. What our goal would be, and I think that you guys would like to watch this, if it's a 6-day trip, what we would try to do is we would try to break it into a couple different video portions, and we would just try to document the entire thing from what we had at Quick Trip for breakfast down to how many fish we shot that night, and just kind of have it be like a live blog bowfishing road trip type of thing. Just because there's, I see it all the time with the hunting public guys. They'll go out and hunt Kansas public land, and you'll get 6 videos from a 2-week trip down there, and it's really cool to follow along.
It is.
They're not shooting booners every video, but it's still cool just to see them going out there. And one of the things that's really cool to me is going out there and watching them fail.
Yes.
Watching it not work.
Right.
Exactly.
It's like,
well, God damn it, that makes me feel better about myself because I go out and fail too.
Absolutely. You don't go out every night and shoot big fish and a lot of fish every night.
No, absolutely not. Yeah. So I think that would be something that would really cool. So we're kind of game planning that, maybe doing that at some point this summer.
And we kind of want to show you what we're looking for when we get to certain bodies of water, why we decided to go to this spot on this specific day, what we're looking for. Kind of like a little bit of a beginner, because we want to go somewhere where we've never been before.
Right.
New water. We have no idea what even species are there. If there's any species there, we don't know.
Yeah.
But we're going to go and give it a whirl.
Yeah. To me, that would be so cool, going somewhere and being like, I wonder what I'm going to shoot tonight.
Right.
Is it going to be a common? Is it going to be a big head? Is it going to be a silver? What are we going to get?
Right.
That's cool. Yeah. Yep.
So I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting thing to do.
Yeah.
Yep. But we got to get those food plots in first. Oh, man.
All right, Schmitty.
I got a question. I got a whole segment on my notes here of our podcast that's just crossed out with Sharpie.
Yeah. I didn't want you to see that.
Okay. All right.
I didn't want you to see that.
Okay.
Because now it's time for...
Oh, I know.
Let's get ready to
All right.
Get ready for fish that you wish.
All right, Schmitty. This fish comes to us out of the state that produces 95% of the world's bourbon and the ever so tasty, juicy, lip-smacking good Colonel Sanders chicken. No wonder the fish love swimming in the waterways of the Bluegrass State. I'm talking Kentucky, folks. Of
course, yes. That's a hell of an intro.
Shot on June 4th, 2022 by the one and only Travis Spiceland. Hashtag AMS Pro Staff.
Whoop, whoop.
Measuring in at 46.5 inches long and with a fatty girth of 28 inches, this silver carp is your current BAA world record, weighing in at 46 pounds, 15.36 ounces.
Wow. Oh my goodness. That is a tank.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Wow. And I think we can say, Matt, that
is a fish that you wish you shot.
Holy cow. I'm not going to lie, that Kentucky intro was fantastic.
Oh,
that was good.
95% of the world's bourbon comes from Kentucky.
And old Colonel Sanders. That's
you
good.
Drinking fools, you. Wow.
Oh, man. Yep. Cool. That's a tank right there.
Oh, geez.
How much, for the people watching, Matt, how much would you say our replica silver carp weighs?
That's
right
in
here?
the teens.
That's a teener?
That's a teener right there.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, so just multiply that by like 3 or 4.
46. Yeah.
That's what he's...
And that's the BAA world record.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. So
very neat right there. One thing that I would like to do, Derek, is if we do get into some silvers, I would like to flace them up and grill them.
Yeah.
I really like to try that.
Yep.
I would really like to try that. Mm-hmm. Oh, Schmitty.
That did not feel like an hour.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Well, we hope you enjoyed episode 86 here of the Bowfishing Buzz, brought to you by AMS Bowfishing and Megamouth Bowfishing.
sponsored by Efficiency Bowfishing Lights by Outdoor Innovations USA, and Designs Embroidery and Leatherwork. Great sponsors. We appreciate them very much. Very much.
And we love all of you out there, too.
Yep.
You amazing bowfishers out there helping rid the waterways of invasive species. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much. So from all of us here at AMS Bowfishing and
Megamouth Bowfishing as well,
we wish you the best of luck. Remember, aim low
and think big. Thanks for listening, guys.